One time I was traveling in Ireland and I was going north. It was after I'd written a column in the Washington Post. And I'd just like to go to the west of Ireland and drive north along the ocean. So I got lost and I went into this barn with a lot of cars and I thought, oh good, it'll tell me how to go. So I walk in there and it's an IRA meeting. Believe it or not, I walk into an IRA meeting and I just finished a column writing against them. So, oh boy, so I walk out of there, they take all my stuff, look at the car, all that kind of business. So I leave finally. So this farmer, I stopped and I said, I want to go north, I want to go. So, oh, he said, I wouldn't start from here. Well, I think those of you who are starting with World Merit are doing the right thing. You're starting from the right place. What I love about what Chris is thinking about is that, in my work, human rights work, mostly everybody demonstrated, mostly everybody disappeared, mostly everybody tortured, mostly everybody, who's out there trying to do some good in the world are young people. You forget the jails are really filled with young people. You forget they're the ones who are really being killed. I was the director of Peace Corps in Lesotho, Jimmy Carter's years, and weekly we'd have kids coming across the border who had been tortured, trying to get away from the apartheid regime. And it inspired me to become director of Amnesty International. And they wondered why I did music, because music is young people. So it's kind of legendary now, but it really happened that I actually got the agreement of U2 for the first big tour I did. In 8 minutes, I got U2's agreement to play anywhere in the world. It was 2 weeks for me, anywhere in the world. I got the agreement in 8 minutes and typed up and left with the agreement. And the second one, I got Bruce Springsteen in about 6 minutes. And he said to me at the end of it, he said, I'll do it. He said, you're not too excited. So I looked down and I jumped right up on top of him. He was so shocked. But I think you got to ask for what you want. I think that's what we got to train young people to do, is ask for what they want. I think we got to get them to ask for democracy and decency and transparency. We got to get them to stop torturing and killing and torturing. We got to find a way for the 75 million unemployed kids in the Middle East that we do something beside war. We got to find a way to put those kids to work. For what they want to do and how they want to do it. Not to tell them what to do, to give them an opportunity that you and I have. I'm a poor kid from Pittsburgh. And, my father was killed when I was 2 years old. My mother raised 11 children. And 4 checks came every month. And my mother would have us at the door. Every time these checks came, we'd have to hold the check. And she'd say, thank the president. So we call it Frankie time. But we thank Franklin Delano Roosevelt every month for those checks. So my 2 oldest brothers, we were going into World War II. And they both came to Mom and said, Mom, why don't we just get jobs and make some money to help the family, pull it out of where we are. She said, oh no. She said, the president saved us. We're going to save the president. You're going off to war. Well, they could have stayed home because of the economic condition. But I think that's the kind of commitment we need when we go to do something. That you realize that you've been given an awful lot. You've got to get it back. You've got to get it back. I'll tell you a couple stories just quickly about young people. I was sitting next to a kid, his name was Edine in Bosnia, and we're sitting by a soccer field. I was taking some young people to the Vienna Human Rights Conference, and I said to Edine, why don't you go out there and play soccer? No, he said, I don't want to go. I said, no, come on, I play football, but that's different. I know I'd go out, but I don't know how to play that game. Why don't you just go on out there? So I kept bugging him about playing out there, and he finally turned to me and he said, I can't go out there because the kids I used to play soccer with, they raped and killed my mother and my 2 sisters and killed my father. Oof. Another young kid, we had just finished our world tour. We were going into Argentina. 100,000 people waiting for us at the stadium. We were on the buses with our artists, and we had with us the grandmothers that had disappeared. And we had with us some of the kids that had been restored to their parents. You know, a lot of them, they killed their parents and stole the children. A lot of them, they couldn't find their way back. They had to go by the teeth. The best they could find, you know, their real parents, their real grandparents. And so we had some of them with us on the bus. The artists cleared off the bus, and all of a sudden, at the bottom of the bus was a policewoman waiting to steal back the child who was on the bus with us. And you know, we didn't really, the few of us who were coming off of the bus, really didn't realize what was happening. And the little girl was about 12, I guess, took off and ran down the inside of the bus and got down under a seat. And the policewoman ran outside the window, pounding the window as she went. And we kind of froze because, you know, what was happening. And her little brother, he was about 5 or 6, 7, he ran down the aisle to his sister, took his little jacket off and put it against the window of that policewoman. I would guess that's all we really got against oppression. I think that's what we got best, is that little jacket is the most powerful weapon we can muster in the world. It's bringing young people out of their heart into what they really want to do, what they really would need to protect, and to have the guts to go and do it. The other kid was, in the El Salvadorian War, there's a army unit sweeping up through villages, executing as they went. And the mother said to her daughter, honey, why don't you stay on one side and I'll stay on the other. One of us might survive. And so as they came through, they killed the mother. And as the soldiers were exiting this little village, they heard this voice singing this freedom song. And they went back. They whacked the girl with a machete. And they went to leave again. They heard someone singing again. They went back and hit her again. And a third time, same thing. They killed her on the third. But I would guess that's a song that should, you know, be remembered. And that's a person that should be remembered. And I think the strength of that kind of heart, we have to spread in the world. So our young people, they don't wait for later. They do it now. I like to see presidents who are 21, 22 years old, filled with decency and compassion. And I think what Chris is trying to do here is to allow young people to get to their energy and their heart and their brains and bring that capacity out of them. Back in the late 60s and early 70s, I and a lot of young people raised about $15 million for world hunger. And every one of those dollars was raised by kids in local communities who made their own decisions. And the reason it worked so well is that they made their own decisions. And I think that's the magic, I think, what Chris has fostered in this, is that there's a sense of democracy and to do your own thing and to bring your own strength and be rewarded for decent activity. And I don't know about you, but I'll speak for myself, and Chris knows this already about me. Whatever I got, whatever strength I have, whatever capacity I have, I'm going to do everything I can to help Chris to make this work. I think that the young people of the world have to rise up. We're not doing a good enough job, we adults. We aren't getting it done. And so what we got to do is get a generation of young people that really, really are committed to a genuine future for everybody in the same equal way. Thanks for having me.